Alright, so today we're taking Albedo on all the demonic beasts. Now you can see that the footage is a little sped up. Instead of doing the live recording, like I usually do, because now there's 4 of these things, the videos get so long, I decided it's best to just record it all and then give my thoughts after. So actually it's better because now, after having done it, I can give you more conclusive thoughts right away, so you already have the information. Now I'll give you like each thought for each beast, so it's more comprehensible. So for bird, I mean, it's bird, right? You're not gonna, if you're struggling with bird, alright, I'll give you that, you know, maybe you're a very new player. She's gonna be very helpful if you have other unknown characters and stuff like that, because her passive does help to have unknown characters and stuff, but generally speaking, I mean, she's very good. In all the demonic beasts, except one, the counters are very powerful. Demonic beasts have anti-counter damage. So, I believe all of them do. One of them has more than the others, but I believe all of them do. And even through this anti-counter damage, as you can see, her counters hit very hard. She is putting up some really good numbers even through that. But I will have to say, using counters in demonic beasts can be a little, I want to say awkward. You know, you can time it to make it look very good, but I felt like especially on deer and especially on deer, it was really unfortunate. But again, bird, if you are a veteran player, you probably don't farm bird at all, but if you had to, I would say using a counter character is really unnecessary. You probably have good enough characters that you are... If auto was a thing, you can't auto in demonic beasts, right? You could auto, probably. If you're a veteran player, you probably can auto bird, because, you know, the characters we've had as of recent, mainly the festival units, are so strong that is it really a problem for you? But regardless of that, in any case, if you want to use her for the fun factor, because counters are fun. Counters are very, very fun. I would say she's a good unit. For any future demonic beasts, do I think she's going to be a key component on like a day 1 team? No, I do not think so. Mainly because I expect the new demonic beast, whatever, you know, whenever that comes out, if that comes out, I mean, there's going to be a new activity, which is, you know, you face all the demonic beasts except Snake, back to back to back. It's like floor 3 of bird, deer, and then dogs. She could be good. It's just going to depend on what the devs do. Like, are they going to make that activity lower counter damage to the point where she's unusable? We can't know right now, right? We're going to have to wait for the activity to actually come out, because that is something to consider. She 100 billion% depends on counter damage. And like here, boom, look at that, 2.3 mil, phase 4, second floor. The counter damage is what's driving you to, you know, think of using her. And if the activity lowers it by a lot, because you gotta remember, like, since Green Esterosa, they realized counters are good, right? Counters in PvP are very unbalanced. So to, you know, counter that, they made so, you know, most enemies that are hard, most hard activities, take lower damage from counters. It's just basically all of the activity. So in a future demonic beast, I don't believe she will be good. But that's mainly because of that. If there was no such thing as damage reduction towards counters, she would be amazing. She taunts, she counters. She does good damage. Her single target does surprisingly good damage. It's a debuff card, so you expect the multiplier to not be very high, but it's because she has such high damage. Every time she's attacked, she gets attack related stats, you know, everything like that. So by the end of the phase 4 towards there, or phase 3 if you're doing Snake, right? Her single target is hitting hard, right? But regardless, even if their single target hits hard, you're mainly there for the counter, right? So you gotta think of that. So Bird, I mean, if you really want to use her, you could, but I look at Bird, I'm like, okay, if I'm a new player, let's say I just started playing during the Overlord collab. I could probably make a good team for her, for Bird, and make her work. But if I'm a seasoned veteran player, do I want to use her when I can use something faster? Unlikely. So I just popped a level 2 counter there for phase 4. Because I wanted to see what would happen. And who would have thought the counters do very, very high damage. And they've absolutely, evaporated him. Missed a crit there, unfortunately. She can have a Merlin link to increase crit chance. Might be worthwhile. So Bird, I mean, she was good, but Deer is where complications start. Because Deer has the wheel, right? And counters actually move the type wheel. Meaning, let's say I prepare the Deer to, be blue damage, right? She does the damage. And then the next attack, it's already going to be the next damage type. So phase... phase 1... all the phases, right? From the second floor were incredibly awkward, and you'll see a bug I encountered in this. So, for Deer, I'll be honest, I am not a big fan. Mainly because counters are very awkward to use here. Deer is just an awkward fight in general, but I am much better off, I would say, using... I think that the best Deer character is the one ultimate, because he hits twice, and that is just incredibly powerful for this. But I put on the level 3 counter for this, because I really want to see, right? And here was fine. It didn't kill the first hit, but whatever. And then, like I showed, right, the damage type moved to now being red. Attack sealed on my characters, but doesn't matter, because, he died. But so, floor 2 is where complications started here, because floor 2... if you attack with the wrong type, you get frozen, right? And it's a funny thing that I don't think that they planned for someone to freeze with a counter. So I just did it like normal, and once we get to phase 2, you're gonna see what happens. I don't think that they programmed the game to actually know what to do when that happens. Because the game just kind of shut down when she got frozen. So I did the wheel so I could get the rank up first, and then put on the counter. I wanted to see if the counter would just kill her, kill the Deer, honestly, right? Before she even got frozen, because I would manage to get like 2 counters off, right? 1 damage increase for blue, and then the next one. So I saw the first one did only half, so I was like, it's not gonna kill, whatever. The game just stopped. This isn't 2 times speed. The game just stopped. If you get frozen while doing counters, the game doesn't know what to do. So I had to restart. You have to like just restart the whole thing. And unfortunately, I paused the recording, so I'll just do until I get the same phase, right? I forgot to unpause until I got to the next floor, but it's whatever. Floor 2 of Deer is very easy, and what I did is I didn't even use Albedo, to be honest. In the second floor, I didn't use her because the counters were... If I got the same thing to happen again, like phase 4, I would have to restart. So, Albedo was just unusable in that floor. But what about floor 3? I found that, in floor 3 she was actually pretty good, because floor 3 is the most annoying part of Deer. If you don't kill him precisely with the amount of HP that you have to, he just full heals, and it's very annoying. But if you have a counter, maybe I could, he gets exactly lowered and then killed again. But I guess you'll see what happens. It didn't go exactly to plan, but it was whatever. Deer is also not an activity that's very hard. If you have Yorm, you just breeze through it because Yorm's stupid. But would I use her? If I had to farm Deer again, which I don't know why you would, but I guess some relics that are coming out have Deer materials. But so there's that, right? Let's say you have to farm Deer, would I use her? No, I wouldn't. Again, if I was a new player, let's say I had Yorm, I had Albedo. I managed to pull for her somewhere. Would I use her? I guess. Sure. But if I'm a seasoned veteran, would I replace my current team for her? Most certainly not. So I did the wheel because I wanted to, you know, have blue damage for her, so she would do max damage. I would just see if she could one-shot, honestly. And unfortunately, because she didn't get attacked much, she didn't have any buffs, right? So the hit, unfortunately, did exactly enough that he full healed. So if I did like a little less, I would have just two-tapped him and killed. So maybe, you know, if you are someone that gets, you know, very annoyed by that full heal, yeah, that could be useful. Now moving on to dogs. Dogs was probably the best. Dogs was probably the best performance because dogs are just a weird boss. They really are. Here in the first floor, I kind of wanted to hold on to the second phase to use her counter, but I should have just put it on. Because this first phase of dogs, if you want to use her, honestly in general, if you want to use Albedo for dogs, I would recommend. It's pretty good. Is she better than running Humans of Roxy? No. No, she's not. Humans of Roxy is just way too stupid. But it's fun, and it's really good. So, dogs is a thumbs up. But in any case, by the way, I'm not using a full unknown team because Tonar is better, right? There's no point in using an extra unknown for the extra basic stats. Use Tonar, use the character made for it. If you don't have Tonar, maybe then you should, but you know. In any case, in this first floor, I don't even use her counter because, I mean, first floor is so easy. But I should have used that in the first phase because first phase, the counters are very good. And I do use it next floors, so don't worry about that. We're going to get to see it. In general, her counters are very powerful, and she made it decently fast. It wasn't as fast as using humans, but it was fast enough that I would put her on the, you know, I would use this again list for dogs specifically. So pretty good. Unfortunately, a bit of a spoiler, I don't need to farm dogs anymore because the only reason why I would farm dogs is for the card. For some reason, after farming hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of runs, I didn't get one of the dog cards. I got multiple times the same dog card. You need to get both, right? There's two cards. I kept getting the white dog. It just so happens, in this run, I got the card. So I don't have to farm dogs anymore. But, you know, if in the future it did happen that I, you know, needed to, then cool. So I put on the counter here. Give it a try. So I did want her to take some hits first to see how strong the counter would be. Kind of wish I had just put it on in the first turn, honestly. Boom, the counter just did 500k. Level 1. I was thinking, oh, do it level 2, level 1. Level 1 counter, immediately just one-shot the dog. But I do make a mistake here in this next phase. I was hopeful that the level 2 counter would be strong enough that it would just straight up one-shot the... what's it called? The dog here, the black dog. If he didn't AoE first, but he happened to use a single target first, so it just removed my stance. And it is what it is, right? You need to remind that, you know, in this phase, they have a stance removal, mainly the black dog, so I accounted for that in the next floor. Next floor, I just killed the black dog first. You know, the white dog took the counters. I believe that's what I did. I recorded this like a few hours ago, so I might be misremembering exactly what happened. But, you know, in any case, I got the card and I was like, oh, is this the correct one? It is. It actually was. Couldn't believe it. And phase 3, I mean, dogs are one that you might still be farming. You know, have they released any dog relics recently? I don't know. But here, counter in the first turn. Just see what's up. And honestly, it didn't disappoint. You know, considering she had only one buff at the beginning there, look at these counters. Look at that. That's very good. Level 1 counter, just tossing in the first turn and then just kill him next turn. That was, you know, I could have maybe optimized this to make it faster than humans if I did, you know, use level 1 counter every single first turn, right? So I think for dogs, I would maybe use again if another dog relic comes out and I need mats. I don't think that's gonna happen, but, you know, see, that debuff card did so much damage. So I put on the level 2 counter, and I went straight for the black dog first, do some damage on him, and I was like, okay, if he doesn't die here, which I think it didn't kill, yeah, hope he doesn't do the single target first, right? First counter, 337k, that was good. I mean, she didn't have any buffs. And then that counter was better. And that killed 1.1 mil. Again, I think I could make a better run, but in general, is it better than humans? Unlikely, but still good. Now, Snake is where problems arise. Do not bring her to Snake. The reason for it is very simple. This boss has an unholy amount of damage reduction towards counters. Like, it's actually insane. I had moments where I had her in such a good position for damage, and I was expecting to see some really nice results. But unfortunately, all I was seeing was like 10k damage, 20k damage. Do not bring up... I didn't even do floor 3 because... I mean, I could have done it if I kept trying and did like a proper, like, optimal run. But it would just be the other characters carrying her. And what's the point of that, right? Like, so here, I removed all 3 stances so that I could see, like, I'll be, like, demolishing this phase. Problem is, first turn... boom, 30k damage. Now, is it because he snatched me? There is definitely an element to that. He did lower her attack by snatching, but even with the snatch, like, oh sorry, even without the snatch, she would not have done damage. And that's just because the boss has an absurd amount of damage reduction towards counters. Like, see, her single target is 300k, while her counter did 30. Again, she was snatched, but I do want to preface that, you know, there's definitely an element you need to keep in mind that, honestly, I don't think it's worth bringing her. Now, again, I didn't bring a full unknown team. I actually really wanted to, but unfortunately, second phase, you need a buff removal card, and no good unknown character has a buff removal. So, Liz it was. Liz is a fantastic character. Losing with Liz is like almost impossible. I still managed to, but yeah, losing with her is very hard because, I mean, if you're playing if I had a better character, or I don't want to say a better character, right? Because Albedo is a very good unit. But if I had a character that was better for the boss instead of Albedo, I would have like autoed this, right? If I had Margaret or I guess not Margaret. If I had Margaret, if I had Megalda, if I had Trader Melly, right? I would have had a much better time. But here, so Albedo, again, very good condition for her. Very good. She has a level 1 counter, so not really hard. But very good condition for her. She has 3 of her own buffs. And then, what happens first turn? 36k damage. 53k damage. Not good. In a stupid good condition, I might add. Stupid good. She had some stacks from Freya. She had buffs. She was like in a perfect place to just pop off. But unfortunately, it's just a boss. The boss has an absurd amount of damage reduction. So I hope you understand why I just was like, it's not even worth. It's not even worth going for floor 3 clear. It's just not good. Like, you are not going to have success bringing Albedo over someone else, right? If you have, you know, all these characters, right? If you have LR Liz, if you have Holy Relic for Freya, you could beat it, for sure. You could. But why would you when you can just bring somebody better? That's the thing, right? So, Her ult's pretty good. I'll give her that. Her didn't do much damage there, but it's because it's AoE. Her ult is pretty good. So, I mean, I'll just... I don't have much else to say for this boss, really. It's just... She could have been very good for this boss. I think with the way the boss is designed, especially the second phase of any of the floors, really, even if they snatch, right? She could have been so good for this, but also they have stance removal. So right there, remove my buffs, 36k damage, like 33k damage. Remove my buffs again, so that's, you know, lowering damage too. Like, it's just, what can I do really when the unit is just not doing much, right? Like, even with Liz hard carrying, and then he does this these AoEs and just evaporate my health. Remove my stance. Like, yeah, you can see why I'm just saying, you know, it's not even worth trying to go for floor. Like, it's beatable, but it's not going to be beatable because Albedo is, like, helping us. It's going to be beatable because I have Freya's Relic, Freyer's Relic, LR Liz, right? I have all these really, really good components. Albedo is a very big minus to my team here. I did another run because I was like, okay, let's try again. Let's see if we can get a better RNG or whatever. It's not much different. Like, the results are not much different. So, yeah, really good for dogs. I mean, she's really good for everything except Snake, really. But would I run her in anything but dogs? Unlikely. I would run her in dogs though. Very, very good. Very, very good.